The cafe smelled faintly of roasted beans and cinnamon, but I barely noticed. My hands curled around the warm cup, waiting for her to say what had been burning on her lips all evening. Clara wouldn't meet my eyes. "Clara, what's wrong?" I asked, my voice softer than I intended. She sighed, tapping her spoon against the saucer. "You know what's wrong, David? You're stuck?" "Stuck?" I frowned. "I have a job. I pay the bills. I'm working toward something." Her eyes finally lifted, sharp and unkind. "Working toward what?" "You're crawling when everyone else is sprinting. I need more than this low life you're dragging me into." My chest tightened. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying," she said, each word deliberate, "you're not worth my time." Cafe noise blurred, cups clinking and laughter fading into silence. I swallowed hard. "Not worth your time, Clara? I've loved you. I've given you everything I could." She leaned back, lips pressing into a thin smile. "Love doesn't pay for the life I want. Ambition does. Drive does. And you?" She shook her head. "You don't have it?" I forced a laugh, though it came out cracked. "So what? You want someone with a bigger paycheck? A faster car? A fancier title?" Her silence was my answer. She reached for her coffee, but her hand trembled. "I want someone who doesn't waste years chasing small dreams. Someone already winning." I stared at her half-empty cup. "Winning, Clara? I thought we were building something together. Maybe slow, maybe messy, but real." Her eyes softened. For a flicker, then hardened again. "You'll thank me one day. You'll see I saved you from holding me back. Saved me," I muttered, shaking my head. "No, Clara, you just broke me." I reached across the table, but she pulled her hand away before my fingers brushed hers. "Don't make this harder," she whispered. "It's done." Oh. I wanted to shout, to beg, to throw every memory in her face. Instead, I sat there, my throat burning. "You're walking away, just like that." "Yes." She stood, her chair scraping against the floor. "Goodbye, David." Her heels clicked against the tile as she moved to the door. For a moment, I thought she'd look back. She didn't. The bell above the entrance chimed. And then she was gone. The table between us was still warm with her presence. I stared at the coffee cup she'd left behind, lipstick faint on the rim, steam curling upward like a ghost. My hand trembled as I pressed it against the wood, holding myself together. I didn't chase her. I didn't call her name. I just sat there, gripping the table, chest caving in on itself. Yes. As if the life I thought I had cracked open in one quiet moment, nothing would ever be the same. "Hey man, you holding up?" The silence of my apartment. He leaned against the door frame like he wasn't sure if he should step all the way in. I forced a smile. "I'm fine." My throat tightened around the lie. He walked in anyway, dropping his backpack on the couch. "Doesn't sound like fine? Everyone's talking. I figured you'd need company." I laughed bitterly. "Company or damage control? I heard your girlfriend was laughing about me at the diner." Daniel flinched. She didn't mean it like that. Didn't mean it." My voice cracked. "I can hear people laughing, Daniel." "At work, on the street?" "What?" "It's like I'm the punchline in some sick joke." He sat down, avoiding my eyes. "People just don't know what to say. You and Clara were solid. Nobody expected." He trailed off. I finished it for him. Nobody expected her to move on with Victor. The name tasted like rust on my tongue. Daniel looked at me, finally. "You heard?" My laugh was sharp. I was in line at the coffee shop when two girls whispered about it. Said Victor and Clara looked good together. Good together. I dragged my hands over my face. "Do you know what that feels like?" Shook his head slowly. "Victor used to come to me broke." I spat. "He begged me for gas money, rent money, and now he's parading around with Clara like he earned her. Like I was just keeping her warm for him." Daniel leaned forward. "She made her choice." "That doesn't mean you're less," I snapped. "That's exactly what it means. If she thought I was enough, she wouldn't have left. And if he respected me, he wouldn't have taken her." Silence stretched between us. The ticking clock seemed louder than his breathing. Daniel finally muttered, "I'm still here." I looked at him for how long. Everyone else disappeared the second the gossip started. Sarah won't return my texts. Mike crossed the street yesterday to avoid me. Even my boss looked at me like I was contagious. That's not fair. It's true. I stood, pacing the room. One breakup, and suddenly I'm toxic. Everyone was happy to be around when Clara smiled on my arm. But now, they'd rather laugh behind my back than face me. Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. Maybe they don't know how deep it cut. They don't care how deep it cut. My chest ached with every word. They just want a story, a scandal. And Clara gave it to them. His eyes softened. So what are you going to do? I stopped pacing. The question hung heavy. I had no answer. Just a dull, burning ember that refused to go out. I don't know yet, I admitted. But I'm done being their joke. Daniel nodded once. Then, don't let them laugh. Make them regret it. The ember flared. For the first time in days. I let the anger settle in my bones like it belonged there. I stared at my reflection in the cracked mirror above the sink. My face looked hollow, eyes sunken from sleepless nights. Daniel leaned against the doorframe. You planning on staring at yourself all day? Or are you finally ready to do something about it? I muttered, I don't even know where to start. Start. With this, he said, tossing me a worn gym bag. 5 o'clock. There's no excuses. I caught it, frowned. The gym? Since when do you care if I work out? Since I got tired of watching you drown in your own misery. You think Clara deserves to keep you like this? Her name stung. I clenched my jaw. Don't say her name. Then prove to yourself you're not the man she threw away. His eyes hardened. Or stay here, rotting. Your call. I wanted to argue, but something inside me cracked. I grabbed the bag. Fine, I'll come. The gym smelled of sweat and metal. The air buzzed with clanging weights and grunts. My stomach tightened. Daniel slapped my shoulder. Don't overthink it. Just move. I gripped a dumbbell, lifted, and instantly felt fire rip through my arm. I dropped it. This is insane. You think revenge is easy? He barked. Every rep is a reminder you're not weak anymore. I groaned, picked it back up. My muscles screamed, but I forced the weight up again. Sweat blurred my vision. Better, Daniel said. Again, ours blurred. My arms shook, my lungs burned. But something strange happened. Didn't hate it. Right? Like punishment and fuel at the same time. At one point, I collapsed onto the bench. Can't. Yes. You can, Daniel cut in. Stop saying can't. You've lived in that word too long. I dragged in a breath. What if I fail again? He crouched, locking eyes with me. Failure is when you quit. You're still here. Now that means you're fighting. Something shifted inside me. I stood again, wiped the sweat from my face, and forced another rep. My arms trembled, but I pushed through. Weeks passed in a blur of sweat, bruises, and aching muscles. Every morning, I wanted to quit. Every night I was glad I hadn't. Daniel noticed. You're different, he said one evening, tossing me a towel. I smirked through ragged breaths. Different how? You're starting to look like someone who doesn't beg for scraps. Someone who doesn't chase ghosts? The words settled deep in me. For the first time since Clara walked away, I didn't feel broken, felt alive. One night, as I stared back at the same cracked mirror, my reflection startled me. My shoulders looked broader, my eyes sharper. I whispered to myself, she doesn't get the last word. I do. The man in the mirror didn't look like a victim anymore. He looked like someone ready to burn the world if it meant rising from. The ashes, the spark was there, and I knew it was only the beginning. I slammed my notebook shut after another night class, muttering, God, I'll never get this accounting stuff. Lena, my instructor, caught me before I left. You're overthinking. Numbers tell a story. Learn to listen instead of fighting them. I chuckled bitterly. Numbers and I have never been friends. Maybe they're not your enemy either, she said. Stick with it. You've got potential. Ah! Her words echoed as I walked home under the dim streetlights. My muscles still ached from the gym. My brain fried from equations. But her encouragement lit a spark I didn't want to admit was there. The next morning, my roommate glanced at me dragging weights in the living room. "Don't you ever rest?" "Rest doesn't pay bills," I grunted. "Neither does killing yourself." "Maybe not," I said, sweat dripping. "But it'll buy me freedom someday." Most nights I collapsed over textbooks, but I refused to stop. And freelancing gigs popped up online. I jumped in, writing fitness tips, editing videos, even designing logos I barely knew how to make. I did whatever kept me moving forward. One evening after class, Lena walked beside me. "You ever think bigger than this grind?" "Bigger?" I laughed. "I'm barely surviving." "Exactly. You're surviving, not living." "You've got ideas, and people listen when you talk about discipline. Why not share it?" "Share it how?" "Start a page, post videos, teach what you're learning." Her confidence unsettled me. "What if no one cares?" "Then you try again." "But what if they do?" That question haunted me. I borrowed my brother's old phone, shaky camera and all, and filmed my first video, me explaining how to stay disciplined when no one believes in you. When I posted it, my finger hovered over delete. Hours later, a stranger commented, "Needed. This today." "Thanks." My chest tightened. One comment felt heavier than the years of silence from family. The next day, I told Lena, "Someone actually watched my video." "Of course they did," she smiled. "You've got something real." I shrugged. "It's nothing." "No," she said firmly. "It's a beginning." Weeks blurred into months. I'd wake before sunrise, drag myself to the gym, then to class, then collapse at night, editing clips for an audience that barely existed. Failures piled up, bad audio, blurry frames, posts that got 0 likes. But every so often, a message came. "You inspired me." Those few words carried me through the exhaustion. One night, my roommate shook his head as I typed late into the night. "You're insane. All this for what?" "For myself," I said quietly. The world that once dismissed me was starting to look my way. Small victories, 100 followers, then 200 felt like proof that maybe, just maybe, I was building something bigger than survival. For the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt unstoppable. Daniel barged into my room while I was hunched over the laptop. "So what's tonight's plan?" Another sad rant. "Or are you finally going to upload that one we worked on?" I smirked, my finger hovering over the upload button. "This one's different. It's not about Clara." Not directly, he leaned against the wall. "Then what's it about?" "Pain," I whispered. "Betrayal. And how you rise after people try to bury you?" Daniel tilted his head, curiosity lighting up his eyes. "So, you finally admitting you're making art out of your scars?" I hit upload before I could second-guess myself. The title glowed on the screen. "She said I wasn't worth her time." Daniel whistled. "Ouch. Brutal." "It's not her name," I said quickly. "It's a story. My story, but also everyone's who's ever been left behind." Minutes passed. Then comments started trickling in. "Damn, this hit me right in the chest. Bro. I thought I was alone. Thank you for saying this. Man, I felt every word. Keep going." I refreshed. More comments, more views. My stomach knotted. Daniel leaned over my shoulder, eyes widening. "Dude, it's moving fast." I blinked at the numbers climbing, hundreds of views, then thousands. "It's just the algorithm," I muttered, though my voice shook. "No, it's you," Daniel shot back. "People are finally seeing you, hearing you." By midnight, the video had blown past anything I'd ever posted. The subscriber count ticked like a slot machine, rolling higher every time I refreshed. Daniel clapped me on the back so hard I almost spilled my drink. "This is it. I told you, man. This is your moment." I laughed, an unsteady, raw laugh that felt strange on my tongue, as if I hadn't used it in years. "Look at this one," Daniel said, scrolling. "I watched this 5 times tonight. It made me believe I can get up tomorrow. You're changing lives, bro." I stared at the screen, overwhelmed. Do you think she's seen it? Who cares? Daniel shot back instantly. Clara doesn't matter. This is bigger than her. But the thought lingered anyway. What if Clara, sitting somewhere with her perfect life, stumbled across my words? Would she recognize herself in the cracks of my sentences? Another comment popped up. This saved me tonight. Thank you. I swallowed hard. Daniel, this isn't just numbers. These are people. Exactly, he grinned. And you're finally giving them what no one gave you? I leaned back, my hands trembling. As the screen lit up with more messages, more hearts, more voices reaching for me, the world had once watched me crumble, broken under betrayal. Now, millions were watching me rise. For the first time in years, I felt something that wasn't bitterness or regret. Hope, and maybe, just maybe, Clara would feel it too. I was lying. On my bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, when my phone buzzed, notifications kept popping up. Likes, comments, new subscribers. My thumb moved lazily, scrolling until I noticed something different. A message request. I blinked, sat up, and read. The name, Clara. My chest clenched. My fingers went numb. I tapped the preview, and her words burned through me. I've been watching your videos. I'm proud of you. Can we talk, Clara? I whispered, as if saying her name might make the screen vanish. Daniel sprawled. In the chair across the room, looked up. What's wrong? I handed him the phone without a word. He read, and his eyebrows shot up. Wow, she really has some nerve. She says she's proud of me. My voice cracked. After everything? Proud? Daniel scoffed. She left you for a richer guy. Now she sees you're rising and suddenly she's proud. I rubbed my temples. Maybe she means it. Maybe she regrets it. He leaned forward. Don't do this. Don't fall for it. She's only back because you're winning. His words dug into me, but my chest was still tight. I stared at the blinking cursor in the reply box, my fingers hovering. Should I answer? No. His tone was firm. She made her choice. Now she gets to live with it. But I want to hear her voice again. The confession slipped out before I could stop it. Daniel shook his head. That's temptation talking. You don't need her validation anymore. I clenched the phone tighter. Then why does it hurt so much? 'Cause scars ache when touched, he said quietly. I laughed bitterly. You sound like a philosopher. Or just a friend who doesn't want to watch you get crushed again. Da-da-da-da-da, silence. Stretched between us, the room felt colder. I imagined her, typing that message, maybe hesitating, maybe hoping I'd still care. Did she picture me smiling? Did she imagine I'd forgive her instantly? I muttered. What if this is my chance to get closure? Daniel's eyes narrowed. Closure or relapse? I couldn't answer. My pulse thudded. The cursor blinked, waiting. Every second felt like a battlefield. Finally, I locked the phone and tossed it onto the bed. I'll think about it. It's better than replying, Daniel said. I leaned back, covering my face with both hands. Revenge or silence? Which one tastes better? Daniel gave a half smile. Revenge is power. Revenge is poison. Poison has a certain flavor, I murmured. He sighed. Then don't drink it too soon. I let out a shaky breath. Chest was still heavy, but I didn't unlock the phone again. Claire's message waited, glowing like an ember in the dark. 4. Now I chose silence. I spotted her before she noticed me. Clara sat at our old cafe table, the same corner where she once tore my heart apart. She looked smaller, like time had been shaving pieces off her. Hey, I said, sliding into the chair across from her. Her eyes lifted wide, uncertain. You came, you asked. I leaned back, arms folded. So what did you need? She hesitated, fingers trembling around the chipped mug. I don't even know where to start. Victor's gone. The name stung like lemon on an open wound. Gone? He left me? She whispered. Took the money, the car, everything. I thought we had a life. Turns out I was just convenient. I let out a dry laugh. Sounds familiar. Her lips parted, guilt washing over her face. I deserve that. I know you deserve worse. I leaned in. After what you did, it was stupid. She said quickly, voice cracking. I thought he could give me the world. I thought leaving you was the right choice. But it wasn't. God, it wasn't. She reached across the table, fingertips brushing toward mine. I pulled my hand back like her skin was fire. Her face faltered. I miss you. I miss us. I stared at her. Same lips that once whispered promises now tried to pull me back into the same trap. My chest tightened, anger and longing fighting. Inside me, you miss the stability, I said. The way I loved you. You don't miss me, you miss being adored. Her eyes watered. That's not true. I loved you, did you? I leaned closer, my voice sharp. Or was I just a stepping stone until someone richer walked by? The cafe seemed to grow quieter, the hum of voices fading. She swallowed. Hard, lips trembling, but no words came. I searched her face, desperate for something in answer. A confession, even a lie that might soothe the ache. But all she gave me was silence. That's what I thought, I muttered. Tears slipped down. Her cheeks? Please, don't hate me. I've lost everything. I just wanted you to know. You were never the problem. I was. Her voice broke on the last word, but I stayed still, my hands clenched under the table. Every part of me screamed. To forgive, to hold her, to rewrite the ending. But her silence told me everything I needed. I stood, chair scraping the floor. Goodbye, Clara. Her hand shot out, but she didn't touch me. She just whispered, I'm sorry. I walked out, the cool air hitting me like freedom and grief all at once. For the first time, I realized her silence wasn't weakness. It was her truth. And it was enough. Clara sat across from me, her hands wrapped tightly around the warm coffee cup, as if it could hold her together. Please, she whispered, her eyes glassy. I made mistakes, but can't we at least talk about us? I leaned back, keeping my expression calm even though her voice scraped against old wounds. Us, Clara. You buried us the day you left. Her lips trembled. I wasn't. Thinking straight, Victor, he manipulated me. I didn't mean for it to end like that. Funny, I said quietly. You sounded pretty clear when you told me I wasn't enough. She flinched. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I was scared, she said, gripping the cup tighter. I thought money, status Victor, could give me that, but I was wrong. He doesn't care. He never did. I need you. I stared at her, wondering if she believed her own words. Need me? Or just need the comfort of someone who won't walk away? Her silence said everything. The temptation was sharp like a blade pressing against my hand. I could have destroyed her right there. Record her begging. Post it for the world to see. Let everyone watch the proud Clara stumble, humiliated. The thought almost thrilled me. But then I remembered the nights I begged for her to stay, the humiliation I carried in. Silence. Did I really want to become her? You don't know how much I regret what I did, she whispered. I can change. Give me one more chance. I let out a small laugh, more bitter than I intended. You sound just like me back then. Her eyes widened. What do you mean? To beg to, Clara. I begged you to see me, to choose me. You walked away without looking back. And now, you're asking me to forget all that? She reached across the table, fingers brushing the edge of my hand. I pulled away. You can't be serious, she said. You can't just throw everything away. Everything? I asked. What exactly is left to throw away? The trust, the love. You shattered that long ago. Her face crumpled. In 4. Once I didn't feel the old ache. Instead, there was a strange calmness settling inside me. I stood up, pushing the chair back. Enjoy your coffee, Clara. This conversation is over. She looked up at me, panic flashing in her eyes. Wait, please. Don't leave me like this. I paused, remembering the last time I said those exact words, and how she walked out without hesitation. Now you know how it feels, I said softly, and I walked away. The door chimed behind me, the cool air brushing my face like a final release. For the first time in months, my chest felt light. revenge. No recording, no cruel payback. Just freedom. It wasn't mercy. It was strength. It was mine. I was at my desk when Daniel burst into the room, phone in hand, eyes wide. "Turn on the news," he said, nearly out of breath. I frowned. "What's going on?" "Just do." I grabbed the remote. The screen flickered, and there it was. Victor's face plastered across every channel. The headline scrolled at the bottom: "Scandal at Harlow Industries CEO under investigation for fraud." I leaned back, my heart steady, almost disturbingly calm. "Well," I murmured, "look at that." Daniel let out a low whistle. "The mighty fall hard, huh? His company's stock just tanked. He's ruined." I watched the reporters dissect every piece of his empire, the lies, the bribes, the backroom deals. I knew he was reckless, but I didn't think it would unravel this fast. Daniel smirked. "Guess you won after all." Shook my head. "No, this isn't my win. This is his loss." He tilted his head. "Sounds the same to me." "It's not," I said, my voice sharper than I expected. "I didn't lift a finger. Life did this on its own." Daniel shrugged, scrolling through headlines on his phone. Still poetic. "Clara left you for him, and now he's nothing more than tomorrow's gossip." At the mention of her name, I exhaled slowly. Clara chose him because she thought he was untouchable. Now she's standing in ashes. Daniel grinned. Bet she regrets it." "Regret doesn't change a thing," I muttered. The news anchor's voice rose. Authorities confirm multiple lawsuits have been filed. Harlow Industries is expected to declare bankruptcy within the week. Daniel leaned back, satisfied. "That's karma working overtime." I didn't smile. I couldn't. Watching Victor's empire burn should have thrilled me, but instead I felt lighter, as though a chain I hadn't noticed was finally broken. "Why so serious?" Daniel asked. "This is your moment." "It doesn't feel like victory," I admitted quietly. "It feels like release." He raised an eyebrow. "Release from what?" "From needing to prove anything," I said. "From carrying their betrayal. Like it defined me." Daniel studied me for a moment, then nodded. "That's deeper than I expected." The broadcast cut to footage of Victor being swarmed by reporters, his face pale, his jaw tight. Almost pitied him. Almost I turned the TV off. "Enough." Daniel leaned forward. "You're really not going to celebrate?" I met his eyes. "No, because if I celebrate, it means he still matters, and he doesn't anymore." Daniel chuckled. "You've changed." "Maybe I finally let go," I said, standing up. "Clara, Victor, all of it. None of it belongs to me anymore." Daniel smirked, slipping his phone into his pocket. "Then I guess it's my job to celebrate for you." I almost smiled. "Go ahead, just don't expect me to join." For the first time in years, my chest felt clear, unburdened. Victor's fall wasn't my triumph, it was my freedom. The morning sun spilled through my window, softer than I remembered. My phone buzzed with notifications, thousands of comments, new subscribers, emails from brands and universities inviting me to speak. Lena leaned against the doorframe, coffee in hand. "You're trending again. Do you ever get tired of seeing your face everywhere?" I laughed, shaking my head. "It's tired. I used to dream of just being noticed. Now it feels surreal." She smirked. "Careful, fame can swallow people whole." "No," I said quietly. "But I'm not chasing her shadow anymore. I'm building something real." Her smile softened. "So, you're saying you're finally living for yourself?" I looked at her, really looked. "Yeah, for the first time I am." "Yeah." The day unfolded like a blur. Emails confirmed a speaking tour. A producer wanted to adapt my journey into a documentary. My channel crossed 10 million subscribers. I should have felt overwhelmed, but instead felt grounded, like every scar had led me here. At dinner, Lena tapped her glass. "So, when do you plan to slow down? Or is this just the beginning?" I raised an eyebrow. "You think I should slow down?" "I think," she said, her eyes glinting with mischief, "you finally deserve to breathe. Maybe enjoy the life you fought for." I chuckled. "Maybe. But part of me thinks stopping would mean letting the past win." Across the table, her fingers brushing mine. Or maybe it means you've already won. Silence stretched, but it wasn't uncomfortable. For once, it was peace. Later that night, I scrolled through my old messages. Clara's words resurfaced in my memory, sharp as ever. You'll never be enough. Lena noticed me drift. You're thinking about her again, aren't you? The ghosts still whisper, I admitted. But they don't control me anymore. What do they do then? They push me, I said, my voice steady. Every insult, every betrayal, it became fuel. Clara thought she buried me. But all she did was plant a seed. Lena tilted her head, and now, I said, exhaling slowly, I'm not just surviving. I'm alive. I'm worth more than her approval, more than her validation. My worth is mine to decide. She smiled, a hint of pride in her eyes. That's the man I see when I look at you. For a long time, I sat in that quiet, realizing she was right. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't a man defined by betrayal. I was someone who had risen, not in spite of the pain, but because of it, and as the city lights flickered outside, I whispered to myself, this is my new world. I stared at the blinking cursor on my screen. My finger hovered over the record button. I whispered to myself, this is it, the last one. I pressed record. My face appeared on the screen, pale under the lamplight. Hey everyone, I said quietly. Tonight I want to end this story the way it began. Honest, raw, no filters. My throat tightened, but I kept going. I was broken. Betrayal crushed me. I thought I'd fade away into nothing. But anger, it became fuel. It pushed me to work harder, to prove something not just to them, but to myself. I paused, then leaned closer. You ever feel like someone's words cut so deep you'll never heal? I did. But here's the truth. They didn't destroy me. They built me. I stopped the recording for a second, shaking my head. No, that's not enough. I need to tell it like it is. I hit delete, then started again. Clara once told me I wasn't worth her time, I said. That sentence haunted me for years. I let it echo in my head night after night. But look where it brought me. It lit the fire that made me who I am today. I let silence hang for a moment, then forced a small smile. Funny, isn't it? Sometimes the people who push you away end up being the reason you rise higher than you ever imagined. I leaned back, eyes burning. I don't want revenge anymore. I don't need her apology. What I needed was to see myself, and I do now. Clearer than ever. I clicked pause. The screen froze on my tired face. I whispered, that's it. That's the closure. But my chest felt heavy. I knew it needed one last push. I hit record again. So here's my message. I said firmly. If you're watching this and someone told you you're not enough, prove them wrong. Not for them. For you. Build something they can't take away. Build yourself. My lips trembled. I exhaled slowly. I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the people who say you're not worth their time are the very reason you learn your true value. I clicked stop. The screen went black. My hand hovered over upload. For a moment, I hesitated. What if no one cared? What if it fell flat? I shook my head. No, I whispered. Even if one person hears it, it matters. I hit upload. The progress bar crawled across the screen, and when it hit 100%, I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Minutes later, the notifications started. One comment, then 10, then 100. I clicked one. I needed this tonight. Thank you. Another. I thought I was the only one. You gave me hope. And another. Man, you don't even know me, but you just saved me. I laughed softly, wiping my eyes. Saved you? No, you all saved me. The comments poured in faster. Thousands. People from everywhere, different cities, countries, lives. Strangers who understood my pain, my fight, my story. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. I closed my laptop. The room went quiet, the glow gone. I sat in silence, the hum of the night filling my ears. I whispered to the darkness, I don't need Clara to see me. The whole world already does. A strange peace settled inside me, soft and steady. Real, unshakable. For once, I didn't feel like I was speaking to prove myself. I was simply speaking the truth. The truth had set me free.